Why should you not be the president? I'm not 35. I can't even get my own shit together. How am I supposed to get a whole country's shit together? Can't do worse than the current guy. Can you imagine having the average person's insecurities and then adding the media scrutiny that the president receives? I'd probably just quit like 2 weeks in. Shut myself in my room and not come out ever again. The closest man who became president that was a common man was Truman. He managed to persevere. Fuck all that. I've worked 40 long years to cultivate a life of minimum responsibility. I'd prefer to keep that going. I'd paint the White House black. I see the White House and I want to paint it black. No colors anymore, I want to turn it black. I hate people. That didn't stop Richard Nixon. Zero experience in being a politician and no training in the law. You don't want an outsider being president for the same reason you don't want an outsider being an open-heart surgeon. Donald Trump became president and he is by your own definition an outsider. Granted, he's not exactly a good president but still. And look how that turned out. Which is the proof that people with no fucking clue how governing works shouldn't be allowed anywhere near a position of power when it comes to government. I'm extremely lazy. Lazy people unite. Let's march on. Oh fuck, if this chair is comfy. My first act as president would be to delete everyone's freedom, monsieur. Clearly some people can't handle that level of responsibility. I speak 3 languages. Have a PhD. Am a successful business owner. Have tenure at a university. Have a great relationship with my wife. Have raised 3 kids who are good people. And I have a dog that tolerates my presence. I am supremely overqualified. I'm Canadian. We don't have presidents. Even if one of us was prime minister we would probably follow the Angry Worm song. I am a German rejected art student. Luckily not Austrian, though. People outside of Europe don't know the difference probably. I'd be a dictator. Because I am a black lesbian woman and America can't stand it. It'd make every extremist's head explode so I'd vote for you. If you add atheist on your resume you'd be the perfect candidate. Huh, I am atheist, how would I swear on the Bible during inauguration? Lol. You can swear on the Constitution. I eat pizza with a fork and knife. I was trying to think of something worse than this and now I'm curious as to whether it's possible to eat pizza using chopsticks. Sure it is. You just need to use the knife and fork to cut it up first. I cannot decide why, but my brain is more annoyed that you put fork and knife instead of knife and fork. I'm not American. I mean, I think there are presidents in other countries of the world. One of the rules of Reddit is always read everything from an American perspective unless stated otherwise. Or if you're on a specifically non-US sub. Doesn't matter if you're Russian. I don't plan on stealing money. Well, you've got the lying part down. I really like kissing babies. Is that you, Joe? Spoiler, it's Trump. Apparently that's not a deal breaker. If being president was a competition of how much one person can fuck up their country, I'd come dead last. Then it sounds like you should be president. Touché. I really don't understand the economy. Like, at all. You'd fit right in. Ever notice how many economists disagree all the time? They don't know either. Ooh, in that case. Fini 2020. Wanna be my running mate? I'm campaigning on a platform of banning Mondays and free ice cream, monsieur. I predict we win in a landslide. I'm a Republican, pro-union and in favor of single-payer healthcare and police reform, monsieur. You be a pro-life, free-market Democrat. They'll be so confused they'll all vote for us. My suits are all beige. Screams and Republican. I'd be frustrated to find out I don't actually get to make the changes I want and that my position is basically just a symbol. Yes, minister. I'm a fucking idiot. Fucking idiots shouldn't be president. Then again, Trump. So what do I know? You're better because you acknowledge it rather than insisting you're a stable genius. Because I don't see any reason why I should not be president. That's an excellent question. I'm glad you took the time to ask such an insightful question. And I assure you I intend to answer it in a helpful, forthright manner. Not that anybody else here would. I'm the only one who has the guts and intelligence to properly answer a question so grand in scope. There have been many presidents before who tried and failed to do so. But I come to you with the American people at my back, ready to bring you what you asked for. I don't know anything about presidential stuff. I mean, like Syria and Assad? I have no idea. Was Assad from Syria? Is he still alive? Is he good or bad? Last I heard he was some kind of brutal dictator, probably of Syria, and people were thinking about killing High Monsieur, or maybe they did. Was that what the refugee crisis was about? Maybe they killed him 5 years ago. Greater than I don't know anything about presidential stuff. Neither does the current president. Apparently that isn't a requirement anymore. I tried to mod a Discord server and everyone freaked out. I panicked. Imagine America, I have more than 500k karma on Reddit. Your hate towards traveling is also something that would certainly have to disqualify you. At least you are honest. Narcoleptic schizophrenic, so I'd fall asleep on Twitter while posting conspiracy theories about K-pop and Dunkin' Donuts. I wouldn't allow people to have kids before going through a screening and maybe some counseling. First, I feel like almost every bad person's acts eventually root back to bad parenting, and I can't stand it. Will you also try to convince those who pass the screening that perhaps they should consider adoption before our current administration? My excuse would be that I'm awkward on camera and would say stupid shit. But now I see that's not a valid excuse. Because, unlike the last president, I was indeed not born a US citizen. Apart from that, I can at least claim that I wouldn't be worse than what you've got now. I would be a great one-term president, and I would feel I failed if I hadn't pissed everyone off over something. And I could do it with one statement. Abortion should be government-funded and readily available up until 16 weeks. And after that it's banned. If Nicolas Cage asked me to borrow the Declaration of Independence, I would probably give it to Hi Monsieur, then there wouldn't be all this drama and Sean Bean doesn't go to jail where I assumed he was killed by another inmate. So yeah, nobody would sign off on that. I have no experience in a long history of disgraceful conduct. But now that I think about it, these really aren't disqualifiers anymore. If you also have an IQ lower than an orange, you're the right person. If anything, you're overqualified. A. I have an addictive personality and a short attention span. B. I'm too agreeable, so I'd make a terrible negotiator. C. I would dump the entire military budget into building giant death robots before anyone else can. I hate crowds and meetings. I'm lazy. I'd declare an executive order granting me nights and weekends off and have open disdain for voters. On the right, I don't like people, so I definitely wouldn't have their interests in mind. If we're talking about the US, because I'm not American and I'm not 35, I would probably nuke my own country. Florida? No, our country has no nukes actually. Ha ha ha. I don't like politics. I'm not very knowledgeable in politics, economic, and foreign affairs. I can't handle stress well. Same. It takes a lot of skills. Or ideally it should take a lot of skills to be a president, and I'm just your average Joe. I might have way more compassion than 90% of the presidents BC. They are all rich pigs, but I don't have skills to take care of an entire country. I have a very low tolerance for BS and would probably cause a few international incidents and damn sure would cause dozens of domestic ones. Well, for one, I can't even manage my own life most of the time. So the idea of managing millions scares me shitless. Also, I shouldn't be president because I'm not a sex offender. I think, because I'd tell both parties where to stick it and would never to get anything done. It's me, Donald Trump. BC of my crippling heroin addiction. Because I'm not American. I have gotten mad with power before. Ah yes. put an 18-year-old who holds strong opinions about the government and how poorly it is being run in charge of said government. What could go wrong? The government would be overhauled at the first chance I got. I'm an INFP, tears of joy. LMAO, that's also what I came here to put. I would make fireworks legal in all states. Veterans and dogs would hate you. Underscore. Granted, Northern Nevada is now perpetually a giant wildfire and you've just destroyed Reno, Carson City, Tahoe, and all those other places I never cared about. I'm from Northern Ireland, and I'll just ruin the economy. I'd make a terrible marionette. I'm not American, I'm autistic. Military state. Because I'm younger than 35. I suck at almost everything. Zero political experience and don't care for other people at all. So you're perfect then. I'm power hungry and would try and reshape the country in my image of a utopia, which is basically Sweden with less snow on midsummer going on. I hope you don't mean the movie. I do, so a lot less of that going on. I'm high, but to be fair, I think the sentence was a bit ambiguous. That is fair, and helium is one hell of a drug. I'm secretly Trump. I'm a lazy ass. I'd make animal abuse punishable. Weed legal. Decriminalize addiction. Invest in green energy. Wait, maybe. No. I'm not old and creepy enough to reassure the casual voter that the status quo will remain. On acronymus your ADHD. I'd introduce brutal torture sentence on criminals. 'Cause honestly I think I am a good person. At least to some point. That's why I will never think getting into politics. I don't have the political connections to actually lead on legislation. I'd blab about the aliens. No way I could keep state secrets, lol. Too indecisive and not a good speaker and scared of conflict. The time I got suspended in 5th grade for threatening to shoot a classmate at school might work against me. I'll just sleep all day and procrastinate. I'll probably do a 5-minute task after 8 months. Ties with a cult. When I made it like 4 years old. It's the cult of Despacitoya. Used to just be not a cult and instead a joke religion with me and my friend, and it was about the planet of Despacitoya, with their god Despacito spider. We even had a book called the Bible. Sure, it's like only 20 pages long, but it's still a book. Then I became older and decided to make the story into more of a cult of Despacito and looking for their leader after the portal of Despacito shut down, causing an explosion big enough to wipe out the dinosaurs. I'm basically going to try to ban everything that annoys me. That includes motorcycles, lawnmowers, basketball, poorly trained dogs, well-trained dogs, golfing, meat consumption, spray-on tans, crying babies, sports cars, liberal arts majors, talking out loud. Yeah, I'm basically dictator material. That's an interesting fucking list you got there. Yeah, something tells me I wouldn't be very popular. I don't know, shush asterisk asterisk. I watch way too many National Socialist documentaries and movies. That's not a joke, by the way. I think I need help. If you're falling down the alt-right, identitarian rabbit hole, DM me, we'll have a conversation. Neen. I mean it, no. I'm a huge WW2 fan too, nothing wrong with that. I didn't say anything about WW2. I'm Canadian. I'm not qualified to be a good leader, and I also don't have any interest in it. No progress would be made. Around 5% of the population would agree with my policies, because I'd create the zombie apocalypse just for fun. I'm too young. I would like a WW3. I start things and don't finish them this year, plus I would stay up too late watching Netflix the night before international summits and just feel like total crap the whole time. Upset that I did this to myself, but not so upset that I don't do it again. I can't remember anyone's face or name. I've known people for years and still have to fake knowing who they are when I meet with the monsieur. I'd be meeting with foreign leaders and would embarrass the country by not remembering who they are. Me. Great to meet you. So what country do you come from? Quote. Ambassador. You, Monsieur. England. And we've talked a dozen times in person. Me. Right. Excuse me a second. Asterisk runs to the White House bunker to hide out for the remainder of my terror, Monsieur Asterisk. Of course. Given my luck, I'd get re-elected and would need to spend an additional 4 years in the bunker. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.